Ladies first, Debbie.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so very much. That is so kind of you. Wow.
Let me hold the radio door open for you today.
Really? Oh, my goodness. No one's ever done that for me before. Okay, dear listeners, it's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and you can probably guess what the title of our show is Chivalry Gone Forever? Is it? We want to hear from you. So dial in quickly because this is going to be a lively discussion at 1-800-585-9396. Jerry, you always hold the door open whenever I'm with you. We go to restaurants. You always are very gracious to everyone around you.
Thank you, Debbie. That's very kind of you. We're talking, as Debbie said today, about chivalry. What is that? Well, the word goes back a long way. It really, one of its meanings is the medieval knightly system with its religious, moral, and social code. But it also includes a notion of courage and honor and courtesy and being ready to help those who are in any kind of need. And how many of you listening, especially guys, I want to hear from some of you guys today. Was there a time when you saw more chivalry than we do today? And that is, Debbie, for example, we see sometimes in TV shows and movies that go a ways back where if a man and a woman pulled up somewhere in a car and the man got out, the woman would sit in the seat in the car until the man went around to the other side, opened the door, grabbed her by the hand, and helped her out of the car. Now, I'm not necessarily saying we need to go back to that, but that was kind of symbolic, Debbie, I think, of how women should be treated and how men once treated women. Do we still treat women that way? I guess that's what I want to know. Well,
in today's society where everything is trying to be equal and we're all on the same level and we're all on the same page, and it's kind of difficult, I think, to be chivalrous. I really do. Is that the right word, chivalrous? Did I say that correctly?
Yep.
I just I think it could be difficult, and maybe we want to talk about that in this day and age. Has chivalry gone away? We only see that in kind of the old black and white movies. You know, today it's not the same thing. Maybe a woman holds the door for a man. Well, we can really talk about it. Is that really the right way to do things? I mean, maybe it is. 1-800-585-9396. I personally, Jerry, I think it is very admirable when a man stops and backs up and holds the door when going into a restaurant, or if a woman's coming, they kind of take a couple steps back and let the woman walk first through the doorway. I think that's very appropriate, or holding the car door open, or just being courteous. I think that's kind. I think that's a beautiful trait, and it's somewhat lost, I believe. Although I hear this, Jerry, that the younger couples, it's coming back. That's what I heard.
Really? Yeah,
yes, wow. I did.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Well, dear listeners, share your take on this because it really ties in. It's got a very, I think, a very distinct connection to our faith, and that is the areas, the virtues of respect and honor. And this isn't about females being a weaker sex or anything like that, but I think it's about how we really ought to treat people. I posed the question on the take2show.com website, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but maybe not. One has to wonder nowadays, if a ship were going down, would the men rush the women and the children to the lifeboats first? And this is a commentary on us men sometimes. Have we lost a sense of this respect and dignity and the beauty of femininity where we want to maybe put women first? So, ladies, want to hear your take on this. How do you feel about this? And gentlemen, do you, maybe in your marriage, do you like to really put your wife first? And hold the door for her, and maybe pull the chair out at dinner table or at the restaurant for her, these kinds of things? Or what other things do you do to really show that you value her feminine gifts, her personhood, as she is a woman made in the image of Christ? 1-800-585-9396.
One of the great gestures that I think is lost nowadays, Jerry, is when, have you ever seen it where a man is sitting at a restaurant table and his wife, the wife or girlfriend excuses themselves, goes to the restroom, and when they come back, the man stands up as she's entering back to the table. I've seen it in a lot of old movies. I haven't seen it done recently. You don't see that very often. Do you ever recall that? I don't. My dad never did that.
Yeah.
Really? You've seen? My dad never did that, and I guess I wasn't used to that. But I've seen it in movies, and I think, how beautiful is that, to honor, like, when the woman's coming back, the gentleman stands. Or even if there's a business meeting, all of the men at the table will stand. Boy, you don't really see that nowadays. So let's really talk about that. Things have changed dramatically.
That only happens when Debbie walks into the room now.
Okay, from now on, Jerry, when I come into the studio, I want you to stand up as I enter in.
That's right.
I've never really seen that recently. So let's talk about that. Maybe your husband does that, and that's really beautiful. Or you wish your husband did that. And how do we kind of teach these traits? Maybe have them come back around. 1-800-585-9396. That's the number to dial. Matt Gabinski's back on the phones, getting ready to answer your calls coming in. He's back from his sister's wedding, and we're so happy for her, and we're glad he's back because you love talking to him, and I'll put you on hold, and you can listen to the show live so you won't miss a thing. So dial in, 1-800-585-9396.
And here's another thing we can converse about with your takes, dear listeners. If we have lost this sense of what was once called chivalry, where men respected and honored women and held the door for them and pulled their chair out and so forth, if we've lost this sense of that protocol, if you will, what are some of the reasons why? And I posed this on the Take2Show.com website as well. This is not a commentary on the appropriateness or inappropriateness of women in the last several decades have gotten involved in what were traditionally male-only professions, firefighting, law enforcement, military, and so forth. But has that contributed maybe to... as Debbie said earlier, there is this sense of wanting to be equal in terms of professions and what one does for a life profession and living and so forth. But has that caused a diminishment then of this sense of what a man should do by way of honor and respecting a woman? So that's something else we can talk about. I was telling you, Debbie, before we came on the air, I had an actual experience of this on Friday. I went to the post office, and there was a younger lady, probably in her early 20s, and she was far enough behind me that it would not have been wrong for me to just go in and let the door close behind me.
Gotcha.
Because
okay.
It's one of those judgment calls you have to make.
Right.
If somebody's on your heels, you hold the door for them. If they're 30 or 40 feet back, you say there's nothing wrong with it. But I said, I'm going to hold the door, not as a show or to see what happened, just because I wanted to do it for her. And when she finally got up to me, she says, "Oh, thank you." She was
shocked.
She was shocked and surprised. Then she said something rather interesting. She says, "Oh, I was wondering what that guy was doing standing up there in the doorway."
So she had a distrusting thought first before.
Well, either that or the thought that maybe he's holding the door for me never entered her mind.
Wow.
And so you see what I'm saying? I think maybe our younger people in particular don't have any understanding of how things once were. I don't know. Maybe she was suspicious because I did hold the door for quite a while. But anyway, she was surprised, and that's how that went. So anyway, That was my experience with this on Friday.
So it was like a test you did to test out the show that we're doing today. So
right. Yeah, it was what do they call it? It was a focus group.
A focus group, yeah. One person. There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to hit the pause button for just a minute. We're going to get a quick little break here. And when we come back, we're going to go right to the phones. Anna is waiting in Buffalo, New York. She's going to be first up when we come back. So stay with us. We're talking about Is Chivalry Gone Forever on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're so glad you're with us this beautiful Monday. So stay with us. We'll be right back.
You are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. The papacy is about more than the person in office, more than the outfit, hat, Pope mobile. It's about more than the beautiful buildings of the Vatican. And as awesome and as important as all that is, The papacy, at the end of the day, is about Jesus Christ, who left us with an organized religion because he preferred that to disorganized religion. It's about Jesus, who founded a church before we had a book, because he wanted his people to live, breathe, worship, and work as one body. It's hard to describe how amazing it is for Catholics to gather, as they always have, around the Rock of Peter to celebrate faith in Jesus Christ. This is Chris Stefanik. Complete coverage of World Youth Day 2016 from Krakow starts July 27th, only on EWTN, the Global Catholic Network.
Whether you're at home, at work, in the car, you can follow what he teaches 24 hours each day. We're EWTN Radio.
And just to let you know, I'm a returning Catholic because of EWTN. Bless you guys and keep it up.
And you're invited to visit our website too. Just log on to www.ewtn.com. That's www.ewtn.com.
This is Bishop John Brungart of the Diocese of Dodge City.
This is Colin Donovan, Vice President for Theology.
This is Father Larry Richards, host of Open Line Thursday. Thanks for listening to EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
This is your program. You drive it with your takes. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie on EWTN Radio. Is chivalry gone forever? What is your take? Gentlemen, guys, we don't have any guys on the line yet. I want to hear from a couple men today about, this isn't call and brag about yourself, about how you treat your wife with respect and hold the door and do kind of great things for her. This is, we want to learn. We want to learn whether or not we still, as men, I will say this, do we still look at women with a certain special respect and say they're worthy of just being put first and being deferred to and things like this? Or is that a thing of the past? I want to hear that, especially from a couple of men. And ladies, what's your experience of this? Young people, have you learned this? Do you have any sense of this at all? Let's hear from some young people as well.
Jerry.
At 800-585-9396.
Jerry, you made me crack up when you said that. You said, I don't want to hear, from men that call in and just brag about it. I want to hear from a man that says, there's no way I'm holding a door open for a woman. And I want to hear why.
Oh,
it would be interesting.
You're not going to get any calls like that.
Why not? Maybe. You never know. 1-800-585-9396. Somebody who's really bold, call up and say why you don't hold the door open. Maybe you haven't gotten thank yous. You ever think, how about that? Maybe there's been a guy out there that's done it several times and never got a thank you and thought, okay, I'm going to stop doing this because I'm not appreciated. You never know. Okay, Anna or Anna, which way is it? Listening to EWTN Radio in Buffalo, New York on the Station of the Cross. Welcome to Take Two. Is it Anna or Anna?
Yes, Anna.
Hi, Anna. How are you?
You're back.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, right now I can. Let me pull over.
Yeah, because you're going in and out, Anna. You're going in and out. So talk again. Let's see if we can hear you. And make sure you pull over. That would be a safe thing to do, huh?
May have to try back with Anna in just a minute. Why don't we do that? We'll put Anna on hold and go to Kathleen, who is listening to EWTN Radio in Cape May, New Jersey. Anna, call back. She just dropped the call if you get a chance. Kathleen, you're on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. What do you think about this?
Good afternoon. I am honored to have a husband who still believes in chivalry. He opens up the car door for me every time we go to the car, and we begin together all of our 20s and now most of our 30s.
Oh,
wow.
So he opens the door when you go in? Does he come around and help you out?
He will drop everything he's doing to run to the car door and open up the door. And yes, and lets me out too. He's completely committed to it. Sometimes I even think it's silly. Like, what are you still doing this for?
Oh, my goodness. Kathleen, you better be careful. Does he have a brother or something? You're going to have all these women calling up saying...
No, he's the only man in his family.
Okay.
And you got him.
And you got him. Yeah, lucky you. Okay, so Kathleen, let me ask you this question. Did his dad do that? Where did he learn that behavior?
I'm not sure. I mean, he grew up with a lot of males around him, but I didn't see any of them really have any of those type qualities. So this is, I think, just something that's within him.
Wow.
He just always seemed to be one of those men that just kind of went out of their way for women and just respect women. But he also loved his mom dearly, and she raised him very well as well. His dad was there and raised him, but his mom, really instilled it in him that women are special and beautiful. And he had 2 sisters, so that probably helped too.
Well, Anna, you alluded quickly a minute ago to the fact that sometimes you think, well, why are you doing this, or maybe you shouldn't do this. But go a little bit deeper than that for us. How does this make you feel as a woman that a man is willing to see you this way and treat you like this?
Oh, I feel so honored. I really do. I feel blessed to know that, he loves me and adores me in a way where he just respects me to the point where he's going to be willing to open that door for me.
Wow, that is beautiful. You're blessed. And he's blessed as well. That is wonderful. How long have you guys been married?
Oh my gosh, this is our second time actually.
Oh, you mean
it's
second?
A long story. We were married twice now.
Oh wow. Okay. Well, so what's the total amount?
Okay, let's see. Let me do the math. About 5 years.
Wow.
About 5 or 6 years. But together, like I said, all of our 20s and most of our 30s. I'm 36 now.
Wow. Wow. Very, very cool. Well, that's wonderful. Well, your story is going to inspire others to maybe start to do that. So thanks for sharing it, Kathleen.
I hope so.
Oh, bless your heart. Well, you have a great, great day.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Okay, 1-800-585-9396. Kathleen freed up that line, and we'd like to hear from you. We're still waiting for Anna to call back. I hope she pulled over safely to the side of the road. Call back, Anna, if you're listening to us. Okay, Larry, listening to EWTN Radio in Greensboro, North Carolina on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Larry. Welcome to Take Two.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Doing well.
Good,
How
Larry.
are you?
How are you?
I'm great. I hope I'm the first male to call in about the topic.
You are.
But I think that today's society, men sometimes feel, kind of scared to show chivalry because of the way that society has twisted that particular topic. You always wondering if you open the door for a woman, what is she going to think in the back of her mind, or are we planning something evil? Or, it's just odd for us to put forth the effort when society has twisted it so.
Well,
yeah,
Larry,
go
ahead.
I don't know if you were listening at the start of or early in the show, Larry. I shared a story from just this past Friday. I was at the post office, and I held a door for a young lady who was probably about 30 or 40 feet behind me, quite a ways behind me, but I waited. And it really surprised her. She's, thank you. And then she made the comment to me. She says, I was wondering what that guy was doing standing up there in the doorway. So, Larry, maybe that proves what I experienced, what you're saying. And I don't know. I'd like to hear from other women if they feel that way, Debbie.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was going to bring up your focus group that we talked about. And, Larry, that's what I was trying to say when I was asking if calls could come in from males possibly saying they don't open the door anymore and what the reasons are. And you just shared it. The fear of what is the other person thinking it's really gotten to the point where there's this distrusting attitude out there, and it's difficult to know how to behave. And it's unfortunate because we've lost some beautiful qualities that are courteous, and it's unless we start bringing them back in a very innocent, organic way, that they may be lost forever. So, Larry, what's a great way we can bring it back? Maybe just by starting to open the door and getting those shocked looks and kind of breezing through that. Or what do you think? What's the best way to do it?
As you could tell, that part of my life, I kind of miss it, not being able to share that. But there again, I don't want to offend someone or put, the wrong seed in their mind.
Right.
That's just like the other day I was at the car wash. It was getting ready to close. There was a female there by herself, and there was a guy that was driving around the car wash, he stopped and he was watching us. Well, I had finished my car wash, and I asked the lady that was there how long she was going to be there. I didn't want to leave her while this other male was circling the car wash. She said, well, honey, I'm getting ready to leave now. So I said, well, I just didn't want to leave you here by yourself with this weird character circling the car wash. Mm-hmm. She said, well, I thank you for that. I said, no problem.
Oh, see, that's beautiful. That's caring for another human being. And I think that's wonderful, Larry. This is what we need to bring back, that beautiful behavior towards one another. And that is Christian courtesy. It truly is. Thanks, Larry. That really does help us today. We appreciate the phone call.
Thanks, Larry. And I think a lot of what we were discussing with Larry there, it really gets to the fact that human interaction has changed radically.
Yes.
The ability, or I should say inability, of so many people to actually make eye contact with another human being today, we all experience it wherever we go. And I purposely attempt to do so, not to any weird degree. I don't block somebody's path and get my face up there and go, look me in the eye, look me in the eye. But it's like, as you pass them by, I want to look and nod and acknowledge their personhood. Right. And people literally, not only will they not look at you, but they'll look down, they'll look away. They're looking at their watch. It's just really, it's so unfortunate. And I think that's one of the root issues that we're dealing with here. So let's see what Frank has to say, listening to EWTN Radio in Pennsylvania. Frank, you're up next on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Hi, Frank.
How you doing?
Better now that you called, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
I just wanted to comment. I do not feel that chivalry is quite as dead as it was maybe 10 years ago. I think that there were more, how would you say it, like a militant feminist mindset, where now I think maybe people have backed off of that a little bit. I myself have always, said sir and ma'am and to people, had my manners, because I think my mom would have clobbered me if I didn't. But as far as I have always held doors for women, and I have three boys, and I've taught all of them that, you hold the door for a woman. You treat a woman with respect. If a girl slaps you or hits you, well, that's tough luck. You just deal with it. You don't ever hit a girl. You treat a girl the way that they're supposed to be treated. And you should have manners and I think that it's very important. And I have a little girl, she's 5 years old. Well, when she's old enough to date, well, she better have a boyfriend that treats her, puts her on a pedestal as though she should be.
That is wonderful. Well, Frank, this is what I was saying at the beginning of the show. We're seeing, I had read an article about the younger couples, it's coming back. So the pendulum is swinging back. I guess 10 years ago, it didn't work out to have that kind of, like you said, militant attitude. It didn't work out. So maybe we're swinging the pendulum back and we're starting to go back to the basics of being respectful to one another. I think that's wonderful, Frank. And for you to teach your children that and to have them hold that high level of the best version of themselves, to go out there and be courteous to others, and have your daughter demand that in respect. I think that's awesome. And that's what we should be teaching all of our youth, to have that high expectation for themselves and for others. I think that's great, Frank. Way to go.
I wanted to comment. I can't remember the fellow's name on your show there.
Jerry?
What's his name? Larry, yeah.
Oh, Larry. Wait, Larry or Jerry? Which one, the caller or Jerry? Jerry. Okay.
Jerry. Jerry had mentioned that he makes eye contact and kind of makes it a point to make eye contact. And I believe in today's society, that's a big deal, because people are always, they have their face in their cell phones, and they have their face buried in their, laptop, and they're actually walking down the street looking at their laptop, or tablet, I mean.
Right.
I really feel that people have to make it a point to make eye contact and get that human interaction back. I know I sound like I'm 90 years old, but I'm only
not at all.
Years old. I mean, but my parents were older, and it's just part of having good manners. It goes back to having good manners. I was always taught if somebody doesn't want to look you in the eye, they simply don't. Maybe they're hiding something or they're shifty.
Right.
Yeah, I think Frank, thanks for the call. You hear the music. We got to go to a break. I think a lot of it just has to do with people are carrying a lot of shame around, and they just by not looking people in the eye, they just figure nobody can see into me and what I've done or what's happened to me.
Why did millions of people tune in each week to listen to Mother Angelica on her live television program? Because she had the answers. Whatever the question, problem, or heartbreaking sorrow, guided by the Holy Spirit and directed by the teachings of the Church, Mother Angelica had straightforward solutions to life's puzzling problems. Mother Angelica's Answers, Not Promises, a profoundly practical, humorous, and common sense collection, available now at EWTNRC.com.
St. Augustine once wrote, "Question the beauty of the earth, question the beauty of the sea, question the beauty of the air, spread around everywhere. Question the beauty of the sky, the sun making the day glorious with its bright beams, the moon tempering the darkness with its shining rays. Question the animals that move through the waters and amble about on dry land. Question all these things. They all answer you, here we are. Look, we're beautiful." Their beauty is their confession. Who made these beautiful, changeable things, if not one who is beautiful and unchangeable? All creation shouts to us that there's a God, and just as a painting gives us a glimpse into the heart of an artist, all creation tells us that God is beautiful. But if we don't take time to question the beauty all around us, we won't hear that. So stop and smell the roses. I mean that literally. God wrote 2 books, Scripture and Creation. We should spend time reading both. This is Chris Stefanik from RealLifeCatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
It's the start of a new day for Morning Catholic Radio.
To be in the presence of the academic dean, instructor of moral theology and pastoral studies, and vice president at the Dominican House of Studies, Father Thomas Petrie. Man.
Doctor of Sacred Theology, Order of Preachers.
Well, check out the big brain on Brad.
We love the Dominicans.
Morning Glory, Catholic from the start. Weekday mornings, 7 Eastern on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Thanks for tuning in to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. We're talking about Is Chivalry Gone Forever? And phone lines are full. But when there's an open phone line, jump in at 1-800-585-9396. Is chivalry gone forever? That's what we're talking about. And we want to hear from you. Okay, RJ, you've been waiting patiently. You're listening to EWTN Radio in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin. Hi, RJ. RJ, are you there?
Hello, hi.
Hi, how are you? What does RJ stand for? Is it like Robert James or something?
No, Ronald Joseph.
Ronald Joseph. Okay. Oh, darn, I was close. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I always hold the doors open. I started doing it when I was young because it just seemed like the proper thing to do. Plus, back in the days before cable TV, you watched whatever was on, and a lot of, TV stations showed these old movies from the 30s and 40s where guys would hold open doors. I think that might be where I kind of picked it up. And I've always done it since. I do it for my fiancée every single time. And she has actually shed a few tears and told me that no one in her life has ever once opened a door and held it for her.
Wow.
And I do it every single time. Now, I know a lot of times guys will do that at the beginning to kind of like show manners and stuff, and then they just kind of lose it. And it's sad. It's tragic.
That is. It is.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Debbie.
I was just going to say, how can we bring it back, RJ?
Well, it's got to start with parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we learn everything. If our parents have nowadays in the age of social media and the internet and instant news and this glorifying of those who should not be glorified. If parents have more parental control and instill these things young and early and maintain that with them constantly, it becomes a force of habit. And you know what? You don't even think and realize that you're actually doing it.
RJ, do you think when it comes to this parenting that you're talking about, and I think we would agree completely, do you think it's words or is it the example or combination that the kids are going to follow what their parents do?
It has to be a combination because words are nothing until you act upon them.
Right. Right.
Very
yeah,
cool.
Good point.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. And it was back to what Frank was saying in teaching his children about, you show the example, but you also tell your kids how to behave, the manners to have. And I think that is really important. And the consistency is key. I would completely agree with you, RJ. So when is your wedding? We want to be praying for you.
Thank you. July 23rd.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
This month, this year or next
days.
year? Yeah. Is it this year, RJ?
12 days.
Oh my goodness! You must be getting so excited. So you have probably the tux and everything's all done, correct?
Actually, we're going to be very, very casual. It's going to be outside in a park by beautiful Lake Michigan, and it's a little warm for a tux. So we're going very casual, flip flops, jeans, and a nice button-down shirt.
Okay.
Kind of a beach thing.
Well, RJ, we are going to pray for you, as Debbie said, and we hope that you will get back in touch with us here on the program. Give us another one of your takes on a future topic. Will you do that for us?
Absolutely. Thank you very much, and thank you, WSFI, for coming to the area.
Amen. Thank you. Yeah, thank all of our affiliates for bringing Catholic radio to each area of our listening family. Take two with Jerry and Debbie. All right, we did get some gentlemen calling in. We got some other ladies we're going to get to as well. But Keith was next in line, listening to EWTN radio on the Lamb in Aberdeen, South Dakota. He's not on the Lamb; it's on the Lamb. Sounds kind of weird. Keith, welcome. How you doing, Keith? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment. I don't think it's dead, but it seems to be waning a little bit with generation after generation. But you lead by example, like I suppose my father did for me. And to me, it's common sense. It's like picking up litter or whatever, or picking up something somebody drops, but it shouldn't have to be thought about. Should be like more of an OCD action, which I have plenty of. But,
that's one way to put it.
Short, I was married for 20 years, have two great boys out of it who picked up those traits also, and I'm hoping that God brings me another one so I can express those feelings again. But excuse me for getting a little sappy, but
that's okay.
It just really struck a chord how I watch other people do it too, and it's a beautiful thing. It's just what we're called to do as brothers and sisters, and it bothers me that people are so aloof and so detached from each other nowadays that it's really sad. And I recognize it, and people recognize my traits too. And some people basically say, "Thank you for being you." And I'm like, I feel really good about that, but it's not something I consciously do. It's just something that's basic courtesy, and it's received well. It's received badly sometimes. It's not received at all, but you just do it. You do what you got to do because it's man or woman. We're brothers and sisters. We're connected. I would like to see more of it, but we can only lead by example. That's all we can do.
Yeah. Well, you're being authentic, Keith, and I think that's beautiful. That's what the Bible tells us to be, is authentic, and you're rising to that highest version of yourself, and that's what we all should do. It's a shame when we miss that opportunity to connect with another soul, like Jerry was saying, when somebody doesn't make eye contact, or you were just saying people being aloof. That's a shame, because that's a missed encounter between two souls. And it's unfortunate. So maybe all of us bringing it back, we can start a movement across the United States of really connecting as brothers and sisters. And you're absolutely correct on that, Jerry.
Well, and Keith, I wanted to just ask you a quick follow-up here. You mentioned it's common sense, and it is. And I think another way to put that, correct me if I'm wrong, Keith, see if you see it this way. It's common sense, but it also should be more of just an automatic reaction. It shouldn't be something, and I think you alluded to this, Keith. You don't walk up and you say, now let me see. I have a woman behind me. She's 9 feet behind me. I'm going in this door. Let's see. It looks like she's going to come in this door. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to open the door. Maybe I should hold the door. It's not this. We don't go through this rational thought process. It's just a reactive kind of thing. Is that what your experience says, Keith?
It really is. Kind of treating others the way you want to be treated, even if you don't get it back. It's like I tell people, I like getting gifts and stuff, but that's a great feeling. But wait till you give somebody something else, and you'll see a feeling that it blows that away. Better to give than receive type thing. Mm-hmm. And some people, they just want to me, all about me. And I'm thinking, boy, you got so much. Give a little bit to this person. Watch what it does to them. It's energizing. It connects you and keeps you what we're supposed to be, images of Him.
I think that's a great point, is the what this can do for the other person. You just never know, because oftentimes you think if you're in the presence of somebody else, eye contact or no, you just think, well, I mean, I see it all the time. I go to the gym afterwards. I go to the sauna and the steam room, and there's 4 or 5 people sitting in there. Not a word said. Not nobody making eye contact. It's kind of like, I keep going, we're all part of the human family. Surely there must be things we all can talk about and kind of fellowship, at least on a natural level. But I wanted to share another. By the way, Keith, thank you for your call. That was a beautiful, heartfelt take on this topic.
You're very welcome.
Thank you, Keith. Debbie, just yesterday, I just remembered I had another. And this isn't aren't I great hour here, but yeah. I went to Costco yesterday. And I was coming out, and there was a lady pushing her basket, and she had her purse, and she was fumbling, trying to get her receipt into her purse, because you have to show it to the Costco people as you walk out.
Never touch a woman's purse. Okay, go ahead.
I didn't touch her purse.
Okay.
But the wind came up, and it blew the receipt out of her hand.
Okay.
Just instantly, I went after that receipt. And
you chased the receipt?
Yeah, she was older, perhaps in her 70s. I mean, she wasn't about to put on her track shoes and go get her receipt. And it kept blowing and blowing and blowing. Finally, it ended up in this little bush, and it got caught. But I got back to her. I said, ma'am, I said, my running days are over. I've had surgery on both knees. So if this had gone very much further, you would not have gotten your receipt back. But again, I'm not pointing this out to shine a light on me. I'm just saying it was. I didn't even think about it. This woman had a need. Her receipt got blown out of her hand. And I thought she probably needs that for some accounting records or something.
Exactly.
So,
what did she
anyway,
say? I'm curious. What did she say to you?
She was laughing. Oh, yeah. And she said, oh, no, you didn't have to do that. I said, well, yeah, I mean, I know how it is. You get home, you want to check your receipt, make sure you got everything you paid for, and maybe put it away and, check it against your bank or credit card statement or whatever.
Right.
But we had a nice little conversation after that. It really opened that door for some human interaction.
Yeah, that was the encounter, that soul-to-soul encounter. I'm curious, though, have you ever done anything courteous for a woman, Jerry, like that? Like opening the door, well, not chasing the receipt, that's probably once in a lifetime thing. But have you ever done something nice like that where you have waited for that courteous response and didn't get one? Has that ever happened to you? I'm just curious.
Well, I could say there are countless times I've held doors open for people and
they
not
just
a
walk
word.
through.
But that's men, women, whatever. It's just I don't get too worked up about it.
I
just think that's kind of the state of our culture today. Really,
Right. Absolutely. Interesting. Okay, Susan, you're next up, listening to EWTN Radio in Buffalo, New York on the Station of the Cross. Boy, the Station of the Cross is active today. Welcome, Susan.
Hi.
Hi.
I've been waiting, sorry. Like 12 minutes. Yes, I'm sorry. You know what, I have to agree with your gentleman friend who you're talking with, because one time I was at the credit union, and I was walking towards the credit union, and there was a gentleman about 15 feet behind me who started running towards the credit union. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I wants to take my spot. He wants to beat me, okay? So I start walking faster, and we meet at the door, and he goes, all I wanted to do was hold the door open for you.
There you go.
So wait a minute, Susan. So your first thought was, this man is not trying to open the door. This man is trying to beat me in line. Was that your first thought?
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
See?
it really was. Because when you're, like, even in traffic, who's going to cut you off, the woman or the man? The man will cut you off much quicker than the woman. It's just the way it is.
You should live where I live, Susan.
Well, you're a good Christian man. Okay?
Oh, well, I'm trying to be.
We're losing it. Christianity is being lost. I mean, where I live, all the schools, Christian schools, have closed. You have to go about 20 miles away, to go to a Christian school. And the school district does have to pay for you to pick things up. But I sent my daughter to a Catholic school for her freshman year in high school, and although it was expensive, but she was in a large bus with 5 other children that picked up from the area, and that took her from where I live in Buffalo, well, just outside of Buffalo, to Lancaster.
Right.
in New York, if you know how far that is. You know, I'm just, you know, the Christian thing is, it's sad. We pray for it every night.
Sure.
You know, the healing of the world, and now the country with all these shootings and, you know, the bigotry that's going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, a lot of manners are going out the window, Susan, I tell you. We've got, right.
I was at church, you know, and I have a limp. I'm disabled. I was just like across the street, and by the way, I'm not rich. I only got $20,000 for it. Was a bunch of not good. Okay, but my husband's walking, and he goes and and I'm like, well, so much for being a gentleman, you know. And then he's like, oh, I gotta open the door for you now, you know. And I'm like, you know,
Oh.
maybe, you know.
Right, right. Well, Susan, that's what we're talking about, is just to kind of put it into practice and consistently do it, because it's really the proper thing to do. Thanks, Susan, for that call and contribution today, and thanks for waiting to get in on Take Two. We sure do appreciate hearing from you. Jerry, I just have to say before we go to Trace in Ohio, I just wanted to say, you brought up about encounters, elevators. Think about elevators the next time. Next time you're in an elevator, people do not look at each other. And think about it. You're shoulder to shoulder with other people, and people will not look at you. They'll keep their head down. They'll look at their watch. They'll look at their phone. They'll look at their shoelaces, but they will not look at the person that's shoulder to shoulder to them. That is amazing. Elevators, it's a great indication of where we are in society. Trace, you have been waiting so patiently. You actually got our Patience Award today in listening to EWTN Radio in Ohio. Hi, Trace.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for calling.
Well, I was just thinking about, I was listening. I'm 29, so I'm not sure if that puts me in the young or the older age.
Oh, you're young.
Young.
You're young, Trace.
Well, I was just thinking, when I was in high school, I think my mom kind of drilled into me, there's, a lady in your car, you take the time to open the door and things like that. And I remember, kind of my high school friends, as I'd go on dates or give people rides, I would make a habit of opening the door. And, they knew that. So it kind of became a bit of a game. They'd try to get out before I could, get around and get the door open. And that was good for me. But as I got older, as I started thinking about it, I realized a lot of that was maybe less about, really showing respect and courtesy like I was trying to, and a little bit about making myself feel a little bit better and feel like, oh, well, aren't I, Mr. Helpful? And I'm really showing this. So as I've gotten older, something that I've noticed is that, it's not so much that I avoid that. In fact, I tried really hard to still open doors and things like that. But I try to really make an effort to, do things that'll be show respect and courtesy in whatever, setting that person might be comfortable with. I have friends who would be very uncomfortable with me opening the door, and they've made it in no uncertain terms, that I've been walking up, open the door, like, oh, I can open my own door, thanks. So, okay, that's fine. And you want to be courteous and respectful. I don't want to be, no, I will open this door for you. I got to do this. So it's been interesting kind of as I've gotten older, trying to be more about the spirit of the law and making sure that it's really about showing that respect and that courtesy and not just about saying, well, I'm good because, I opened that door. So.
Yeah, Trace, I think that's a good point. And let me ask you this, though, and I would you say that there perhaps should be, though, an element of not patting oneself on the back or justifying oneself or doing good deeds, say, before the Lord or whatever, but still having a good feeling of knowing that I have done a good act for a fellow human being, and hopefully, again, with the emphasis being on them, hopefully I've enriched their life, but also walking away feeling like I did what was right in that situation.
Do you think
maybe there's, Trace, what do you think? Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I completely agree. And I think a big part of that is really, considering, good acts are their own rewards. And naturally, in every sense, when you do something good, you feel good about yourself. And, you don't want to feel bad for being, doing the right thing and feeling good that you did the right thing. And for me, it's, I really try to make sure that I'm putting my focus on, what their needs might be or what I can do to help them. Because I feel great afterwards either way. I've been able to help somebody, and that feels great. Right. So I want to make sure that my focus is on them.
Well, Tracy, your heart is very evident. You've got a caring, generous spirit, and that is beautiful. Keep that up. You are young, 29. Enjoy your 20s still. You've got a whole rest. When's your birthday? Half a year. When?
So.
Okay. Well, enjoy the rest of the half a year before you hit that milestone, 30 years old.
Are you married, Trace?
About 4.5 years now.
You've been married 4.5 years?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, great. Well, I asked because I'm sure your wife is truly the beneficiary of your very generous heart, and I have no doubt that she does lots of wonderful things for you as well.
She probably does more for me. I try to do a lot for her, but she probably went through a contest. But thank you.
All right, praise God. Thank you, Trace, for the call. This afternoon, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Cresta in the afternoon. Al is live from the Napa Institute Conference in Northern California. It is just a fantastic gathering, and Al has two amazing guests on with him today. Dr. Aaron Cariotti. He is a psychologist from the Orange County, California area, going to be talking about biotechnology and the human future. And also Bishop Robert Barron, you know him, and he's going to be talking about how to view Pope Francis. Pope Francis is kind of a moving target sometimes, so Bishop Barron is going to try to pin him down today, Debbie, on Cresta in the afternoon at 4 Eastern Time.
This is amazing. Wow. And Jerry, can we bump up Nicole, who just came in, because her comment is exactly what we want to maybe talk about if we have a few minutes. Can we also bump Nicole up, please?
Well, you can, and as long as Rich and Matt and the other guys can.
Matt, can you do that? Can we get to Nicole real quickly, because this is fascinating. We want to just hit real quickly. Nicole, you're listening to EWTN Radio in Indiana on EWTN.com. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
Yeah, share with us, because this is an interesting comment.
I only wanted to say that my husband and I, we've been married 12 years, and he's a very wonderful person, and when we were dating, he would open the car door for me and try to open the door at the movie theater, etc. And over time, I kind of got him to stop, because, I don't know, I guess I'm too independent. I would open the door myself before he had the chance, and kind of look at him like he was silly. Why are you doing this? I can do it myself. Although I love him very much.
Wow. So when you say you're kind of independent, because I can relate to that. It sounds like I could hear the children in the background. You're a mover and shaker. I get it. So you're like, let me get through the door. I got to get through the door. And you're not thinking, you're not stopping and thinking and allowing him to do what he feels he can do in service to you. And so because of that, it's dropped off of his radar to do it. Does that sound accurate?
I would accidentally do it for him.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I would, open his door.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Nicole. Do you miss him not opening that door?
Well, yeah, because certain times it's come up where I thought it might be appropriate, but I realized, I've just gotten him out of the habit.
Okay, how about getting him back into the habit? Habits are great because you can get him back into the habit. Seriously, maybe just saying you called in on the show and you thought about it, and chivalry is a beautiful thing, and you do appreciate all the years he did it for you, and you'd love it for it to come back. I mean, you can that's what's cool about human nature. We can ignite in others the best. We can have the best come out of them just by reintroducing it, Nicole. That's my challenge for you, if you'll take it up and then call us back and let us know if your husband's opening the door again for you.
Yeah, or I can get myself to stop opening the movie theater door for him.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nicole.
God bless, Nicole. Thank you. We're going to get over to Terry in Syracuse, New York, listening to EWTN Radio on the Station of the Cross. Hi, Terry. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Debbie and Jerry. Been listening since day one, first-time caller.
Welcome.
Thank you. I can tell you, and I had a similar situation to you, Jerry, the other day. I was with my son making a quick stop shopping. My wife and I have been married 22 years Saturday, and we have 4 children, and 2 of
Praise
them
God.
I'm active in Boy Scouts, and I'm an Eagle Scout myself, so trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous is very important, right? So a woman had dropped her keys, and luckily it was on the sidewalk, did not fall into the gutter, which was nearby, and I instinctually just ran over, grabbed the keys, handed them to her, and And it's happened before in the store, like BJ's Wholesale, which is like Costco, where a woman tried to reach something up high, looked over to me and said, "Oh, sir, could you help me pick this off the shelf?" Not a problem. And it's second nature to me. It's like putting on the seatbelt when I get in the car to drive, and I'm doing that right now, hands-free, by the way. So it's become second nature, and my kids, God bless them, they do it. And we were at a family reunion the other day, and big family that I'm in, and my son and I didn't know he was behind me, but I reached out my hand to introduce myself to someone, and he was right next to me and said, "Hi, my name is John." So we have to teach. We have to continue to. We sit down at the table to eat. We teach our kids it's important. We teach our kids it's important to be polite, courteous, and we have to teach it and we have to show it. And if and just like I show them, it's important to get on your knees and pray and go to church every week. It's in the teaching and the learning, and like I said, I was raised that way. I watched the old movies where the woman drops the handkerchief or the man throws the coat over the puddle. It's just second nature. So that's my comment. I don't think it's going away. I think we're bringing it back, just like handwriting cards to someone rather than texting. So.
Yeah. What was that last thing you said, Terry?
Handwriting cards.
Cursive, just like cursive. My wife has beautiful cursive. I try to do the same, and it's very important to us. And we handwrite cards to our relatives and our friends, and I know they appreciate it because it's something you touch them with, and you took the time to do it. Just like you said about eye contact, take the time to make the eye contact and reach out to someone. So.
Right. Now, I was teasing you about that. I love a handwritten letter, and I have actually a nun, a Poor Clare sister that I correspond with. And, of course, they don't have typewriters or computers or whatever, so I get these beautiful, long, handwritten letters. It's a beautiful thing. But, Terry, thank you, and appreciate the call, Terry. And Kevin in Marshall, Michigan, and the others, we are just up against the clock here. It happens every episode of the program. Thanks, Kevin. We wish that we could have gotten to you, but I think one thing we've learned today, Debbie, is that we, human beings, we have, in a sense, disfigured who we are. We have taken the human person made in the image and likeness of God, and we have sort of disfigured that. And we've got to try to get that back. That's my takeaway today. And I think what amazing contributions by our listeners. I have learned so much today.
Me too. I love our Take Two listeners. They're awesome. And that was so nice of Terry to say he's been listening since day one in Syracuse, New York. How awesome is that? That just warms our heart. I have the same takeaway. I think of Matthew Kelly's book, Being the Best Version of Yourself. We have disfigured that, and let's bring it back. It is a movement. We can do it. We can go back to having great, wonderful encounters with each other as brothers and sisters in Christ. Jerry, this was another great show.
Tomorrow, are you waiting on God? Have you got a prayer that you've lifted up to God maybe a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You're still waiting. Is God hearing me? That's our topic tomorrow. And we have our prayer wall and many other things at the Jerry and Debbie website. You will find that. Go to take2show.com. On the right-hand side, the yellow Jerry and Debbie logo. Click on that, and we will see you tomorrow. Have a beautiful and blessed day.